Everything you dream of achieving is possible. But it all comes down to one powerful thing: decisions. Not the conditions you're born in, not the challenges around you, but the choices you make. When I look back at my life, I often ask myself, why am I here? And the answer was always the same: my decisions, not my conditions. Because honestly, my conditions weren't great. I grew up in a tough environment. Many times we didn't even have money for food. But along the way, there were moments when, by grace, by faith, and by my own determination, I chose differently. And those decisions shaped everything. It didn't happen overnight. This isn't a get-rich-quick story. Life doesn't give you $10 million tomorrow just because you wished for it. But here's the truth. If you keep making small, consistent choices and you use today's technology to scale your efforts, your whole life can transform. One of our clients used to sit in a library trying to talk to 30 people for free, and barely anyone paid attention. Today, thanks to technology, she reaches 3,000 to 5,000 people every single month. That's the power of the times we live in. But again, it started with a decision. Now let me share something with you that completely changed my perspective. At every moment of your life, you're making 3 decisions. You're making them right now, even as you listen. And these 3 choices control everything: your happiness, your relationships, your success or failure. Most of us don't even make them consciously. We repeat them like habits, day after day. That's why life feels stuck. But the moment you wake up and become aware of them, you unlock the power to change everything. So, let's break them down. Decision 1. What am I going to focus on? Right now, there are millions of things you could put your attention on. The past, the future, your problems, your goals. It's endless. But you only experience what you choose to focus on. Remember this: focus equals feeling. If you focus on what's wrong, you'll feel wrong. If you focus on what's right, you'll feel empowered. Most of us don't control our focus. We let advertisers, media, social media control it. Have you ever opened your phone just for 2 minutes? And 20 minutes later, you're still scrolling. That's your focus being hijacked. Studies show people check their phone 58 times a day and spend on average 2.5 hours daily on the social media. That's 67 hours a month. Imagine what you could do with that time if you decided to control your focus instead of giving it away. Decision 2. What does this mean? The moment you focus on something, your brain asks, what does this mean? Is this a threat or an opportunity? The end or the beginning? An insult or a lesson? The meaning you give instantly shapes how you feel. If you think someone is disrespecting you, you'll feel angry or hurt. But if you believe they're coaching you, you'll lean in. If you see it as love, you'll feel grateful. But here's the catch. Most of us don't choose our meanings. We let our past or the media decide them for us. And media thrives on negativity. Because fear grabs your attention more than joy. That's why the saying goes, if it bleeds, it leads. If you don't take charge of meaning, you'll live in someone else's story. Decision 3. What am I going to do? The action you take depends on the focus and meaning you've given. If you're angry, you'll act one way. If you're grateful, you'll act completely differently. For example, my father gave meaning to his life situation as, I'm worthless. I can't provide. I've failed. And that meaning drove him to leave our family. It was the most painful experience of my childhood, but it also forced me to ask, what meaning will I give this? That's when I realized we don't always get what we want. We get what we have to have. If survival was my standard, I always found a way to survive. So what if I raised my standard to freedom, growth, contribution? That's when life began to shift. And here's the most powerful moment of my life. We were broke, living by the railroad tracks. My father always told me, no one cares about anyone but themselves. I believed it because that's what it looked like. But then, one Thanksgiving, someone knocked on our door. I opened it and a tall man stood there holding 2 bags of groceries, a frozen turkey, and a cooking pot. He asked, "Is your father home?" I was shocked. A stranger had delivered food to save my family, and didn't even want credit. That day, everything changed. I had new evidence. People do care. And in that moment, I decided, if strangers can care for us, I must care for others. That's why I am who I am today.